Grand evening, beautiful souls and fellow seekers of truth, knowledge, wisdom, and love. I'm Adam, and today we're going to be talking about the major transits that are happening from November 4th to November 10th. That's right, Monday, November 4th, which is tomorrow, to Sunday, November 10th. And the key point here will be November 8th. And before we get on that, I'm going to give you guys the theme for the week. And this theme is emotional balancing and grounding through transformation. So remember that as you go throughout this week. And now we're going to get into what is going on November 8th. And that's going to be on Friday. So Friday, November 8th, Mercury will enter not Scorpio, but Ophiuchus. Unfortunately, this die does not have Ophiuchus, so I had to, just put Scorpio there for now. But Mercury going into Ophiuchus in the 10th house. What this is all about is going to be your public image. So the magician entering into esoteric wisdom when it comes to the public image. So some of you out there might be ready to do what you came here for, right? Your calling. You've been called, and now it's time to step up to the bar. Okay? And now we also will be talking about Venus going into Sagittarius in the 8th house, and that's going to be nestled around occult involvement. Yes, that's right. I said occult involvement. So what you love and value, and seeking the meaning, the truth, the philosophy, the spirituality, the higher education of occult involvement. And of course, these cards laid out here will give us a better description of what is going to happen during this transiting time. And we're going to talk about Mercury first and then Venus. So there will be timestamps down below as well. So let's get rolling. Okay, I hope you're all ready for Mercury entering Ophiuchus November 8th in the 10th house, devoted to public image. Let's see what's going on. And first, we're going to see what power animal we're going to have during this transit. Looks to be the hawk. The hawk is the messenger. Very fitting considering Mercury is the messenger too. So the hawk is also a representation or a symbol of seeing things very clearly as well. So the messages that you want to portray with your public image and bringing out that esoteric wisdom that you've been holding on to for so long, right? And then we have what path to take, and that's powwow. Powwow is really interesting because it's all about the sharing and the quickening, right? The experience. And then, of course, Mercury, Quicksilver, right? You can't even make it up. So sharing and quickening going on, and the hawk being the messenger, and really diving deep into the esoteric wisdom during this time, right? And then we have Fool's Embrace, transmuting pain. And yes, Ophiuchus does do a lot of transmuting, right? Ophiuchus is in that 8th house of transformation. So there's rejuvenation, regeneration, a death, rebirth cycle. Basically the phoenix rising from its own ashes. So that's going to be going on too. And then we have the mystical shaman. So some of you out there might be called to step up. You've been knowing for a while now, and it's time to take off the mask and be your true shaman self, right? And then we have here this card, the Lovers. The Lovers is really interesting too, because the Lovers is actually tied to Mercury, or tied to Gemini, and Gemini is the ruler of Mercury. So the Lover is like seeing both sides of any situation and not like taking sides, but seeing everything more in a neutral way. And once again, this is with your public image. And like Ophiuchus also tearing up that esoteric wisdom. Then we have third eye vision, reclaim your mind. Some of you out there might have been feeling like it's not time yet, but I'm here to tell you it is time, right? Mercury stepping into Ophiuchus, devoted to your public image. So have fun during this time, starting November 8th. All right, now let's get in and see what Venus has to say for November 8th. Okay, here we are. Venus entering Sagittarius November 8th and the 8th house. And that's nestled around occult involvement. And that's the natural placement of Ophiuchus. So you can see that Mercury and Ophiuchus and Venus in Sagittarius, they're going to be working together with the public image and the occult involvement, right? Now let's see what we have here for the power animal that will be working in the Venus sector. We have the horse. The horse actually represents power, movement, and freedom. And you can see here the number 35 is on here. I'm only pointing this out because the next card is also the number 35. How interesting, right? They were both 35 right there. And this one is the shawl. It represents returning home. So this placement with Venus going into Sagittarius in the 8th house, it's going to feel like home. It's like what you love and value when it comes to a deeper meaning, spirituality, higher education, occult involvement going on there too. It's returning home to the esoteric wisdom. Some of you out there might be getting a little giddy during this time, old November 8th here on a Friday. Now let's see what else we have going on here. We got the deep quiet, meditation and stillness. Yeah, I would say that would make you feel like you're home as well, considering when you go within, the way in is the way out. So going within is a very good opportunity to feel at home, especially when it comes to occult involvement. And Sagittarius here, see that right there, Sagittarius. Also trips and spiritual journeys, you can't even make it up. So journeying within to find more about yourself and the occult involvement. And then we have water. It's interesting, water, because Venus, what you love and value, and water represents emotion. And water is very interesting, and I don't think a lot of people understand about water, but water carries its own memory. So if you were to take a picture and show it to the water, and you go and freeze the water, more than likely it's going to show that image or something as close to that image as possible. Also, Masaru Emoto, he did some interesting things with water too. Like the messages that he told the water, and then he froze the water. Or the time when a bunch of monks were blessing the water, and then he froze the water, and then they were forming beautiful crystals and awesome sacred geometry as well. So, hey, I encourage anyone out there, if you want to experiment with water and really get to know it better, yeah, try that for yourself. Like, put an image out there, put some water next to it, and then go freeze that water and see if that image comes out to be what it is. So, like, for example, see this pine cone right here. If I was to have a little petri dish of water right here with this pine cone, and then go and freeze it, more than likely this image of this pine cone would show up. I think it's really interesting. So water, and then also during the times of Atlantis and Lemuria, I think that they really knew a lot about water too, and how it holds a memory as well. And then, of course, when water freezes, it forms ice crystals. You can't even make it up. And then, of course, the crystals, for example, these crystals are the things that actually make up all of this technology. So they use gold and they use quartz crystal. That's where you get those, what did they call it? They're the really fast internet. Fiber optic. Yes, fiber optic with quartz crystal. Fiber optic. Because the crystal holds the memory just like the water holds the memory as well. Okay, and then we have the tower. In this sense, when I saw this, I was thinking it's more like letting go of what no longer serves you to bring in the next phase, which is the Magus. So in this sense, it's whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling. Are you ready to let those negative thoughts go? Are you ready to let those negative feelings just subside and bring in the positive movement forward with a positive mindset? And choosing, keyword, choosing to be happy, right, during this time. Because you create your own reality. And if you do it from a point of love, there is more power to it, right? And you visualize whatever it is you desire, that you already have it. And then, from what I understand, there's this thing called ask formation, where you actually trick your mind, your subconscious, in saying, like, for example, why am I this? Or why do I have this? You know, so there's certain things you can play with during this time, and, you know, esoteric wisdom right there, occult involvement. So, for example, why do I have a brand new car? You know, try it out. See if you like it. Comment down below if it worked for you. So you can try the affirmations, and then you can try the asks formations as well. Okay, now we're going to see what this one's about here. We got the celestial gatekeeper, and you can see that this is a hawk as well. And the hawk, once again, is the messenger. So it all ties together. Venus and Mercury hanging out. November 8th, transiting into different signs. Celestial gatekeeper, timing is critical, right? It's very fitting as well because we just went through the out of time period from what the ancestors once knew. You know, when you're stepping out of time is that transiting period between October 31st and November 2nd. And that's when the veil is the thinnest. So, good times. I hope you all had a happy Halloween, a happy Samhain, and, you know, Feliz Dia de los Muertos, because that was the time more than anything to spend with the ancestors. Yeah. And, you know, it's still happening too now, because it's not something that's just so many days and then it's gone. You know, you still have time to talk to the ancestors and everything. So, yeah, what you love and value above all else, and seeking the meaning when it comes to the occult involvement, the higher meaning of things, right? Opening your mind, having an open heart and an open mind, open heart, open mind, to dive deep into the occult, which is basically just means the things that are hidden or strange, odd, right? Diving deep during this time, November 8th, with Mercury and Venus going into different signs. All right. Well, thank you all for stopping by this evening, and look forward to tomorrow, because that's when you're going to get your own personal messages with your sun sign, whatever you know your sun sign is, from Aries to Pisces, including Ophiuchus. Yes, I said Ophiuchus, the keeper of the esoteric wisdom, the serpent bearer, the serpent representing the wisdom, right? So tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to get your very own personal sun sign messages. And then also, if you're interested in getting a natal chart and learning more about yourself. It's like a study guide throughout your life. Go ahead and email me in the description down below, because that's where you'll get to see where that esoteric wisdom is in your chart. You know, Ophiuchus is somewhere there, right? Like my Ophiuchus hangs out in my 6th house, which is the house of service. So there's something going on. 5th and 6th house for me. Entertainment also as well. So that's where I hang. Ophiuchus. All right. Thank you all for coming. I look forward to seeing you next week. And of course, tomorrow for the 13 signs.